Hello again and welcome to my channel. And today we're going to look at how you can possibly achieve reference level sound at very close to bargain basement prices. And yes, it is possible if you do it smartly, judiciously, and if you have some ability to do minor electronic work. This particular setup consists of two parts. As you can see here, the main one is the Teac 25-2 model. And it is a very strong, very nice, very well built semi-professional model. Some even might say it is a professional model. Behind this unit you don't see right now, but there is a head preamp. And a little bit more about this head preamp in a few minutes. But first of all, this Teac is actually very well suitable for this particular role. Number one, it has choice of two heads. You can go with 4-track or 2-track heads, which is a great convenience for any such system. But to better understand why this particular model and why it is so suitable for this particular application, let's look at the back of this machine. And here it is a bit unusual. If you are used to normal, quote-unquote normal, consumer or semi-professional machines, you are used to see inputs and outputs on the back panel and whatnot. But you see, if you look here, you don't see inputs per se. However, you see playback head output. And that's correct. The playback head of this particular machine is connected directly to those jacks, making it particularly suitable for applications such as an external head preamp. Those of you who have already fairly good quality consumer machine might feel reluctant to go inside of that machine, cut some wires, and essentially provide this function, the direct output for the playhead. Because it brings with it the whole host of different issues. You have to do it carefully to avoid pickup, and you also probably want to maintain the switching capability, so you can always go back and play the internal circuits. Okay, so this machine doesn't have this luxury, but it gives you ready output, which is more than you can say of many other machines. Another great feature of this particular machine is that it can be had very inexpensively. For this very reason, that it doesn't have any internal audio electronics, most customers will shy away from this machine because they simply don't know what to use it for. However, if your intention is to connect this machine to playback preamplifier, then it comes essentially ready for this particular application. Disregard all those record head connections. You don't need to worry about them in this particular application. On the other hand, the remote control function might come handy, and you should be able to find this particular remote control on the market. When you look inside this machine, you see that this machine was not built for home. It is a truly professional piece. The internal construction is very, very high quality. Parts are very good, laid out perfectly. Circuit boards can be pulled out for service. Metal is very heavy duty. It is, by all accounts, a good professional machine. However, the real kicker is its very low price. I think I paid just $200 for this machine in a wonderful condition. Essentially, it required no service at all. It started working as soon as I turned it on. As you can see here, the machine is actually in very, very good condition, barring a few minor scratches here and there, but overall it's in wonderful condition and it's working smoothly. I'm very pleased with this machine overall. Even though I'm used to much higher grade machines, this one is no slouch. This is one that can run with the best. Some examples will not have the switch capability between 2 and 4 track heads. They will just probably have simply just the 2-track head, which is fine for this particular application. But having 4-track head available makes it much more user-friendly, allowing you to play some of your 4-track recordings. Another feature I like about this machine, in spite of it being fairly old, it has, okay, rudimental, but surge capability. It will return to 0 if you engage this particular button. That is more than what you can find on many other machines, and I find this function very convenient. Of course, as you can see here, you have 2 speeds, high and low, in this case 7.5 and 15 inches per second. And you have choice of reel sizes. Now, why reels, you might ask? You know my love for platters and IACD hubs, so why reels on this particular machine? And the answer is actually very simple. This particular arrangement, the holding down arrangement for the reels that Teac uses, is not the easiest to convert to platters and pancakes. I have done it. I've done it on my MPEX ATR 800, which uses the same arrangement. And it's not exactly pain in the butt, but it takes some doing. So on this one, simply because of the nature of this kind of secondary machine in my stable, I have not felt like I should go ahead and modify it. I think it is good enough as it is. So reels we're going to be using on this machine. You also see such functions as the pitch control and edit, which are normally associated with more professional machines. You're probably never going to use it in your typical home environment. But like I said, considering very low cost of this particular machine, I think it's a true bargain. The head condition on this sample is actually very good. They do show some use, but they still have plenty of life left. And most importantly, the wear pattern is very, very even. And they never been adjusted, as is witnessed by original factory paint drops on the screws. And like I said, for $200, this one is really, really a bargain. So that's it for the tape drive portion of the today's setup. And next we're going to talk about electronics. I mentioned before that perhaps the easiest way for building such electronic circuit is by taking the existing phono stage and modifying its EQ. And this is exactly what I've done here, and that's what we're going to look at next. So here we see the inside of yet another of my tape head preamps. And this one To me, at least, it was a bargain because it was really saved from the landfill. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but it was in miserable condition. It required some TLC, some parts replacement and whatnot. But at this point, it's working remarkably well. And you can probably find similar units in very poor condition that require some restoration. But if you are handy with electronic tools and soldering iron, you should be able to do it. Now I'm going to remove this power supply auxiliary module so we could more clearly see the extent of modifications that's required to turn a phono preamp into the tape preamp. Now with this module removed, you can now very clearly see the areas where the EQ circuit resides in the unit. It is here and here. And pretty much all the modifications involve removing one or two components and introducing a variable resistor. In this particular case, the job was to simply build very quickly a single speed, single EQ tape preamp. And that's what was done here. With this trim pot, you simply adjust the EQ for whatever plateau frequency you want, and you're all done. The low frequency response area is controlled by a couple of components on board. There is one additional component for that, actually. So that's what it is. The modification literally takes maybe half an hour to do. And then you have a circuit perfectly capable of playing your tapes. Now, I don't recommend buying necessarily this particular model. It's a good model for this modification because it got all those hooks already built in, but there are many other fine phono preamps on the market, and some of them can be had for just a few $100s. And if you are handy, you probably want to look for a unit in poor condition, so you can save some money by doing yourself some restoration labor. Now, if you decide to ignore my recommendations and go with this particular brand and model of the base unit, let me know and I would be able to provide you with some specific recommendations regarding the modification steps because I'm so familiar with this particular model. But like I said, there are many other phono stages that can be successfully modified for this particular application. Bear in mind that your drive unit only has RCA connectors, which is fine, so you don't need balanced connectors on your phono stage. This particular one has it, but it's not necessary. You can do a very good credible job without XLRs. In this particular application, balanced connection really doesn't buy you anything. So go safely with RCAs and enjoy your music and don't worry about all this RCA versus balanced line baloney. So the whole point of this video is that when somebody very proudly shows you his $10,000 machine and plays music and you are impressed by the sound, don't feel intimidated. Because I can assure you, with this particular setup or something very similar that you can probably obtain for maybe $1,500 or maybe even less, you can beat many $5,000 machines very easily in terms of sheer sound quality. So once again, thank you for stopping by. Let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them. I hope you like this particular machine because I think it really is a bargain and very functional, very effective, very high quality device. Definitely worth considering. And with that again, let's play some beautiful music.